That's really interesting. It seems to fit into a broader trend, especially from some of the more kind of tech savvy companies that I've been speaking to, where they talk about this integration between either engineering and data science, or engineering or data science and product. And I guess those are probably some of the skills that it wouldn't hurt some folks to focus on. Would that be fair to say, or is it kind of a well separated?
I think so. There's a couple of caveats to that. So caveat one is I don't think I would, as someone who's hiring data scientists, I don't think I would necessarily require or look for a strong software engineering development background as a necessity to come in and join the data science group.
Mm.
I think what we've seen, as I mentioned, be effective here is if you have a strong development process already in place in another part of the company and you're able to kind of learn from that, that can be an effective way to pick up those skills through some practice. Not that it hurts to come in with that kind of experience. The other thing is that that's one part of data science, is developing and deploying models into production. It's definitely not the only thing our team does. This might be a difference. For context, we have a pretty small team. There's 3 of us in the data science group. There's about a dozen in the broader sort of engineering group. So we're a pretty small team, but that means that we're doing a lot of things, right? And to justify that level of kind of human capital and expense in a company of our size, we have to do more than just develop models that improve the product. We do a lot of the data analysis and business intelligence as well. We do a lot of internal and external research. We help partners test the efficacy of the platform, things like that. So it's not necessarily the case that all data science roles and all the value you get from being a data scientist relies on being a good software developer. But if you want to go down a machine learning engineer, kind of deploy things to production frequently road, that's inevitably going to be a big part of your job.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear about that bleed over between the analytics function, the data science function, even maybe the machine learning engineering function, as you talk about putting stuff into production, that basically people have no choice but to do a little bit of everything. And I guess that well-rounded skill set becomes more and more important. Is there a sense in which there's a focus on the product side? Because I imagine if you've got data scientists who not only have to build stuff, but then also have to figure out what to build, like there's almost a product instinct component to that, perhaps? Is that dealt with in part by the data science team, or is that a separate like product team thing?
I certainly encourage it in my team to really be thinking about, what is the problem we're trying to solve in the product, talk to our content creators, talk to our users, talk to our clients, talk to our customer success teams in particular, and think about, think of yourself as not just someone designing a machine learning model, but someone who's trying to think outside the box a little bit in terms of what we can do to solve that problem. That's definitely a part of it. But the other thing is, in practice, there are some things that we can do purely on our sort of almost independently now. Where we can spin up models in SageMaker and create APIs and things that form functions. In practice, the most impact we have on the product is when we are working extremely closely with the product and design teams in particular, and also to a certain extent the engineering teams. I'll give you a concrete example of that. So we've been working for a few years now on NLP-focused tools, natural language processing tools, to help you get from some unstructured content into learning items in Cerego. So you might take like a PDF or a slide deck, or point you a URL, or take a transcript of a video or something like that, and be able to quickly get you from that to, here's a set of items in Cerego that fit into our kind of structure and will allow you to learn those things effectively, pull out those concepts. It's a fairly, easy to conceptualize problem in natural language processing, and we have had alpha and beta kind of test versions increasingly available to partners and things that seem to work and do the thing that we intended them to do. But it really wasn't until last year when we revamped our entire manual create flow. So this is where you come in onto the platform and create a course and create the items in that course. We revamped that as a product team, and the product team, to their credit, made the decision very, very early that they wanted to bring in as much of the kind of data science-focused, NLP-focused smart create features as possible, integrate them into that flow. And that was very, very effective, because then you had a team of people, designers and product managers and content creators and the data scientists, thinking carefully about what are the more granular functions that we're trying to make easier for a user. So for example, if you've written a question in our platform, is it useful for us to suggest the correct answer to that question? Probably not, because that's probably something you've thought of at the same time. it is useful for us to suggest 4 or 5 incorrect potential distractors in order to build multiple choice, because that's actually kind of something that takes people a little bit of time. It's an onerous task. You know what the right answer is, but now you've got to think of some plausible wrong answers that will be just hard enough, but not too confusing. So we have, part of our algorithm does that kind of for you, or suggests that. And then there's also some interesting questions around how often do you show those things? What's the cutoff in terms of your confidence in the quality of the material? Do you make it opt-in or opt-out? Like, what's the easiest flow for a user to take advantage of that? And so we've ended up getting a lot more benefit from from that kind of approach, working closely with product designers and thinking more about the user flow, and thinking about the data science functions in a much more granular, modular way than